Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a load of bollocks, but tabletop gaming in general. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a tower defense game. We're going to be talking about Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. And in this game, you will be placing down some towers. You'll be using your heroes to destroy different types of minions that are trying to attack your realm, in the hope that you can destroy them before they all escape and eventually win the game. So in this video, we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules, telling you what we do like, what we don't like. We'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising is worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new in, then please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you after this. So, Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. How'd you play this game? So, Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising is a tower defense game published by Lucky Duck Games. This is a scenario-based game, so what you do, you'll set up the board dependent on how the scenario tells you to, right? Each player will choose a hero, you take your miniature and your player board. Each player will get some special abilities and all that type of shit, yeah? You'll have to sort out a load of cards with minions on them. You'll put a few of them in some horde trays and you'll place them on the board, and you'll put the others face down in different piles outside of the board, right? And these will be the minions that will be spawning and attacking you, right? So the first thing that you are going to do in this game is you're going to spawn new hordes. You're not going to do this in the first round because, lo and behold, there's already hordes on the board, but you'll take the top cards from the spawn decks and you'll place them in spaces adjacent to them, right? Next thing you're going to do is you'll be able to play some tower or hero cards. If you want to play a tower card, you'll look at your hand of cards and you'll take one and you'll place it in one of the build spots of your color on the board, right? You'll see that a tower has some different things on it. You will have some arrows on it, which will tell you which tiles it will attack, because you're allowed to orient your tower whichever way you want. You'll see the amount of damage it does, the tiles that you'll be able to place on the horde tiles. And then there's a level at the bottom, and this is useful to do with upgrading your towers, right? If you want to upgrade a tower, then you'll have to pass it to somebody else for them to upgrade. You can't just do it yourself, yeah? Get everyone to do something for you these fucking days, don't you? So once you place your tile down, you'll do that much damage. You'll place a tile on one of the horde trays. There's different special icons depending on what scenario you are playing, right? Not going to have any spoilers in this review. Some of the hordes need what's called true damage, which is the purple damage. Yeah, it's like a special type of damage. And some of the larger monsters can only be damaged by certain things, right? So you have to be very careful when playing your towers that you're going to be doing the correct damage and to the correct foe, right? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to destroy the horde trays. If you have covered up all the enemies in the tray, then you will take it off the board, right? Then any that are left, you will advance one space. You'll pick up your tower and hero cards. If you want to activate your hero, then you'll place your hero card on your player board and you will move your hero onto the board if it's not already on there. If it's already on the board, then you'll be able to move it a certain number of spaces, right? The hero can cover up different horde icons in the same manner that some tower damage will do. But the only benefit of the hero is that if there's a hero on a horde tray, then it ain't going to move, right? The only thing is, if the horde is meant to move and it doesn't, the hero is going to be doing damage, right? And likewise, if the hero isn't on a horde tray, then it's going to be in the way of a horde that's moving and you're going to get some damage there, right? Then you'll be able to buy towers and mods. You'll be able to spend crystals and coins to buy better shit to put in your hand. So you keep doing this, you'll keep on going round and round and round in circles until you have fulfilled what the scenario tells you. First scenario, for instance, tells you that you win if there are no enemies on the board at the end of the 5th round. And you'll keep doing this until you either complete the scenario or you don't and you die because you're shit. So what do we like about Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising? So the first thing that we really like about this game is that the individual nature of the puzzles on the horde trays, the Tetramino style puzzles, is quite an intriguing concept. If you're playing with more than yourself, then you're going to have to try and trade different strategies on how you're going to get the damage tiles onto the horde trays in a timely fashion, right? If you add to this the fact that the heroes have got square bases, then you're going to have to factor that in as well, whether or not you want to deliberately put your hero onto a tile to stop the horde advancing, which is going to give you more time, but it's going to mean your hero is going to take damage, right? But it's just nice dealing with 2 or 3 individual little puzzles that are on an innate timer, right? You haven't got all day to figure it out. They're moving in a fluid fashion. It's a dynamic puzzle, and it's a little bit interesting, yeah? That make me sad, does it? So the second thing that we really like about this game is that the components are absolutely fucking fantastic. Yeah, the miniatures are really, really good sculpts. There's some really nice fit cardstock. The artwork is really, really nice. The colours are really nice on that. And it came to my attention that this retail version is actually a very, very dumbed down version, right? When I was doing my research for this game, I looked online, looked at a few reviews, and they've actually got like 3D build spots, whereas this game has got these horrible perspex like sheets that move around a little bit too much, right? But that aside, the component quality in this game is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Lucky Duck Games usually provide you with some decent components, and Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising is no exception. So the third thing, and the final thing that we really like about this game, is that the upgrade system is kind of novel, yeah? You can't just sit there plaiting your pubes, right, expecting to get upgrades when you feel like it. Yeah, you're going to have to pass your tower cards over to somebody else, then they are going to be able to upgrade the card for you. I am losing my fucking voice, and I don't know why. Probably too many bongs. So yeah, there's always a trade-off with most of the things that happen with this game. By passing your tower card to somebody else, they're going to be able to upgrade it, and it's going to improve your chances of winning the scenario. However, you're going to leave yourself short with less cards in your hand to play, right? So yeah, it's a nice little choice you got to make. So what don't we like? Like Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. So the first thing that we don't like about this game is that the rulebook is a complete and utter fucking joke, yeah? It's a fucking random mess. I mean, you've got a box standard rulebook, you've got a glossary, and then for some bizarre reason, you've got a scenario book that's in the original rulebook, yeah? It tells you how to set the game up, and then you've got a scenario that tells you how to set the game up, and then for some bizarre reason, you've got a before you play this game setup that tells you all different things. When you're looking through the first setup, let's call it setup A, you set the game up, but it doesn't tell you exactly what you've got to fucking do. So you look in the scenario, and there's things in the scenario that haven't yet been explained, right? You're looking at setup A, looking at setup C in the scenario, not realizing that there's a section in the rulebook that kind of explains some of the stuff that's missing out of the other two fucking rulebooks. Whoever designed this rulebook, you need to have brain surgery because you're obviously not well. This gave me a fucking headache, yeah? I had to get a Nurofen prescription for this. And I'll be honest with you, the fact that the rulebook is so bad, I almost thought, fuck it, I'm not reviewing this piece of shit. I'm going to get rid of it, yeah? But I persevered. I endured immense pain and suffering trying to learn this game, yeah? In spite of possibly one of the worst rule books I've ever come across, yeah? I know there's going to be some people out there, not you lot at the back, people worse than you, who are going to be saying, yeah, this rule book is fucking great, yeah? It's easy, it tells you everything, blah, 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 blah. Well, fuck you, yeah? It's probably like that when you've actually got everything sorted in your head. But the fact you've got your 3 different setup explanations that aren't tied together is batshit. So the second thing that we don't like about Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising, and it's not a problem that is limited to this game entirely, it's all games that do this, is the fact that the game is split up over multiple scenarios. And it's not just that, yeah, that's not the problem. The problem is that the scenario difficulties cascade and components and rules are added as you move through. So it's like a tutorial based system, right? The first scenario is a piece of piss, it's bare bones, and then as you move through, the scenario gets bigger, badder and harder, and more stuff happens until your brain explodes in scenario 12. I hate it when they do this, yeah, because when you do get into the latter stages of the game, you're going to be looking back at scenario 1 thinking, well, why the fuck would I want to play that again? You're left with maybe 3 or 4 scenarios that you can actually play. And I suppose once you've won all of them, which we haven't, by the way, then there's not really any reason to play this game anymore, is there, right? Because you've done it. I'm not a big fan of games that add stuff to the game as you progress through a scenario-based system, because you end up feeling shortchanged at the beginning but overloaded at the end. So the final thing that we don't like about this game is that you couldn't tell that you've lost from very early on, right? Where there's not any hidden information or anything to guess in this game. Everything is laid out, and you know for a fact that once the horde trays move through into a certain position, then you are fucked, yeah? There is nothing you can do about it. It reminds me of Spirit Island, where you're not seeing a map with components, you're seeing different variables that could help you out and which couldn't. And you're looking at it thinking, there's nothing I can do. I am fucked. I might as well stop playing now. And this game suffers from that syndrome. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of games that tell you that you've lost before you've even had a chance to get going. I want to lose on my terms and not on the terms of the game. You know what I mean? So to summarise, is Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we are going to say no. Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising is a bit of a busted flush. This is mainly due to the shockingly terrible rulebook that I think deliberately tries to wind you up, yeah? I was that close to throwing this game into the canal, yeah? But because I love you lot so much, I persevered, yeah? Metaphorically climbed through a fucking bramble bush so that I could review this turd. There are some nice little touches. I do like the little Tetramino puzzle on the horde trays, yeah? That's quite a nice touch. But if I'm going to do that, I might as well buy a Sudoku fucking book from the paper shop for £1 rather than spend 60 quid on this fucking pile of crap. The component quality is quite nice. I actually felt a little bit shortchanged, yeah, because even though these are really good, I would have liked to have had some 3D build tiles, yeah. Instead, you get these little flippy Rolf Harris style didgeridoo fucking things, you know what I mean? So yeah, I can't recommend Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. I think it's based on a video game, yeah, so rather than waste your time trying to learn this, yeah, pulling what's left of your hair out, go and play the ISO app, or however you kids play things these days. Go and do that, and just leave this to people that don't know any better. So there you go, that is Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. Remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. See you next time.